Welcome gamers to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming, and on today's episode we're going to talk about the Gears 5 tech test that's running from July 19th to July 22nd. Now if you have access to the Game Pass or if you've pre-ordered the game, you have access to this, which we of course do, and we got a chance to play it and we're going to share our thoughts. Also guys, the Nintendo Switch game Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 just came out. We also got our hands on that. We got a chance to play it, a little short review, so stay tuned for that. But more importantly, guys, if you watched last episode, you know that we have a Nintendo Switch LITE giveaway. Now, the way to enter that is to like, comment, subscribe, put it in the bottom of the comments at hashtag Switch LITE, color of your choice. Now, you can keep entering that between the last episode all the way up into the episode right before September 14th, where we are going to announce the winner, which the actual system comes out on September 20th. So we'll get more into that later, guys. But of course, there's all that and more. So if you want to hang out, grab yourself a beer and let's talk games. Welcome, guys, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on Lucky episode 13.
I wouldn't call it that, but
for lack of better words. But guys, my name is Craig Prowse, and joining me is the infectious Mandrew Montemayor. How you doing?
Oh, I kind of like that title.
You like that one better?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of new
pretty
nicknames
good
to throw at you. And,
I just want you to give me a new one every single time.
God, what am I, encyclopedia? Dictionary? Or is it, what's the one that you always have to use in a test that everyone always forgets?
I don't even know.
Like an almanac or something like that?
Oh.
Something like that.
People use those?
Well, on tests back in 1995 to graduate school, I think they used to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you went to Harvard.
Harvard Law? Anybody? So anyway, guys, we are here to talk about Gears 5 tech test. It's running from July 19th to July 22nd. Now, if you're trying to get your hands on this, here's how you do it. You either pre-ordered the game, or you have access to the ever-growing popularity of the non-stop juggernaut that is Game Pass on Xbox.
I will say that Game Pass has been coming in clutch, because not only have I played a bunch of other things that I don't think I ever would have played. I'm not the world's biggest Gears fan. I mean, I like it. I've kept up with it. I played the first one. That's really the only one I've beaten. But I know that it's out there. I know that it's big. But I wouldn't pre-order this game because I'm not a Gears guy. But hell, it was on there. Thought I'd give it a shot. Actually enjoyed it. And if the game launches on there day one, I'll be on there to play the story.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things that I like that Xbox is doing. Like, obviously they bought a ton of studios, but they only have a few that are selective, to their console. And what a cool way to launch a game that, like you said, you haven't played one in a while. I've only beaten number one, haven't done it in a while. What a cool way to relaunch it to guys like us because we have the Game Pass. And here's what you get. So essentially, what they're doing is a game that is showing the new arcade mode, right? Which is essentially like a deathmatch.
It's just all multiplayer modes, yeah. So.
And the cool thing that I liked about it was it's tight, right? There's not too much to overload it, right? We get to look at this thing. We have a couple of game menus to pick from. We'll kind of just break it down real quick. So when you start it, you have the arcade quick play, and then you have the ranked. Now, servers.
We'll say right now that we tried playing it. We only got into a few matches, couldn't get into ranked because we kept getting kicked. Even some game modes we would try to get in together. It wouldn't work.
We'd be halfway through a game, and it would
kick someone out, or we'd be sitting in a server for over 10 minutes waiting for it to even connect to a match. So, I mean, it's a tech test. We're not going to dock points for that. I mean, that is kind of a bummer, but at least hopefully they're getting it out of the way now instead of a day one. So if I bought that game day one and that issue started happening, I'd be pissed. So take this for what you will, maybe like 4 games total.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Good games.
By the time you guys, great games. By the time you guys are listening to this, you have all of the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. So by the time you hear this, it should be good to go. I would see any kind of server overload or any bugs getting in the way being done. So essentially, you've got about 5 human characters to pick from. You got 5
locust swarm
characters, what they were calling them. The lobby has a cool thing where you can kind of customize your character. You can customize your skins, your tag that puts a symbol above your head.
So yeah, because it can get a little confusing because I mean the characters kind of can look a little bit similar when you're out there rushing in the field. So like I was even getting confused with where he was to where I just remember
the first few seconds of the game. I was like, who am I shooting at?
His symbol's like a diamond, and I mean even sitting next to each other, I'd have to look at the screen and be like, is that me next to you, or where am I at in preference to you? Because the name doesn't always like show up like right away.
Yeah, you kind of see that symbol first. So it took a minute to get used to, but playing it, Andrew, I gotta say, for a guy that hasn't played Gears of War since Gears of War 1, I thought it played pretty good. I thought it played pretty tight. The controls were
tight
good.
As ever. Yeah, I thought it was really great too. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing it, and actually, he's got some footage, and we'll probably throw that.
Oh, yeah,
we actually
we'll
did pretty good for the first game, so we thought we were going to get our ass kicked because we joined with a lobby. And then on the other team, there's a whole bunch of people that you could tell were in a group together. Because they all have the same name. It was like Armored.
They were clanned up.
It was like Armored Armadillo, Armored, a bunch of whatever matching names. And we actually ended up kicking their ass. I was actually the MVP of the round. I had 22 kills.
I came in like 16-ish.
16, 17. So either way, we both did. And for a game that peaked, it tops out at 50. I mean, we did a majority of the damage to the team, so...
Yeah, and it's got a cool concept, because it's got this thing where... and I don't know if this does this on any of the other ones, but it's got, like, a drop system. It's got a revive... it shows the stats kind of based on everything you've done in that game. Whether you dropped them, you executed them, you revived...
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of in-depth stats. I think that might have been on the others, but, I mean, again, take this as people who haven't played Gears since Gears number 1, and even then, that was when it first came out, not the remasters. So.
Yeah, and I liked so the lobby also has a system where it shows, like, your tour, where essentially getting more kills kind of boost your firepower, because you kind of got these stat bonuses. So that was a cool little concept that they had. Andrew, they only gave us 2 maps. One of them was District. The other one was Training Grounds. Training Grounds, we never got our hands on.
Yeah, we didn't get to play it because I got kicked the one time I got into it.
And so we played District a few times. Small map, but
I thought it was a good map.
Perfect.
Even for that kind of gameplay, it feels like it's big because, I mean, that game's not designed to be huge, but I felt like there was more than enough room to where I'm not getting rushed by them. But then again, I mean, that could just be, first game jitters with everybody not knowing where the spawn points and this and that are. So, I felt like it was more than enough room. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought everything we kind of ran into was fly, right? We're still, because you start with the boot camp that kind of runs you back through the basic control, so that was great. And once we started playing it, we obviously did, pretty well. I think we and you were having a conversation earlier, if it's not your go-to multiplayer online, then you'll probably stick to what you're used to. But for anyone that this is the game they play, like Cien, he gets down on this all the time. There's nothing but goodness to look forward to. I didn't see any downfall with this.
Yeah,
there was nothing to not criticize in a good way besides the servers.
Yeah, it reminds me of Gears. It looks like Gears. As far as I can tell, there wasn't any crazy substantial changes to any sort of system. So I think anyone who that this is your go-to multiplayer game, you're gonna have a fun time with it. And I think if it's not something that's up your alley, if you have the Game Pass, by all means, give it a try, because I had a lot of fun playing it. I mean, besides waiting for the servers, but when I got in, I had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of just close combat fighting, because District is a pretty small map, right, in scale of any other multiplayer map. It's a tight level, it kind of reminds me of like a favela, but smaller from like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it'd be like a chunk of what that map is. Gears is such a unique gameplay. It's not like any other sort of shooter that I can think of. It's, Battlefield and Call of Duty are different, but it's also a first-person game that have some similar features, aiming down scopes, whatever, where Gears is completely different. They even have the different, how you reload and stuff like that.
Oh, man, that was fucking me up. I forgot all about that. Yeah. It was one of those things, because we're playing it, and I got to gripe about it, because it rubbed me the wrong way, is when you're playing it, I wish the reload was right in the middle of your character, because
maybe there's an option to move it.
I hope so, because I completely forgot, and Andrew had to because we have 2 TVs set up in there. He looked at it and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to keep your eye on this thing." I'm like, "I got to look up to the right to make sure that I'm reloading when I'm getting shot at and ducking behind the wall."
That's my one gripe ever about Gears. Yeah, I got to look away from where I'm actually, supposed to be focusing on to see a reload thing.
But anybody that's used to playing Gears of War, that's probably second nature to you. You're probably going, "This guy's a fucking idiot." That's the best system in the world. I don't know.
Depending what size TV you're playing on too. I mean, we're playing on, what are these, 55? So
55, 60, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's fairly big. If you're playing on anything less than that, it's got your whole vision in there where you see it no matter what. So
yeah, overall, great experience, guys.
I would say definitely get out there and give it a try.
You have a few more days to go download it, and I'm sure over the next 2 to 3, jumping into a game is going to be a lot easier, going to be a lot more fun. It also had the party system. I mean, Andrew was kind of sending me invites and gameplay things through the actual Xbox system versus the party, which we found was a little faster.
Yeah, than actually going through.
Sometimes you send an invite and you wouldn't, nothing would pop up.
Yeah, again, it's all technical test stuff. So I mean, you'll run into a few problems, but I mean, you got no reason not to try it, especially free. For free!
One of the other things I do want to mention is that when you get to play, because there's 5 humans and 5 of the swarm, they each have their own custom loadout. So keep that in mind. You can reload your guy, you can remap him, you can reskin him. So I liked that was an entry point that this did. It wasn't just locked into something. It wasn't just this guy could only do this or do that. I like that you had a little bit of options.
Yeah, there's variation. It's always good.
So moving on, guys, we are getting into Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
The bigger thing for the day.
Yeah, the game that just came out. The day we are recording it came out. So by the time you're watching this, we've been playing it for a little bit. The interesting thing to note is that, so this is developed by Team Ninja. And this is the first Marvel game actually published by Nintendo.
Exclusively for Switch.
And
exclusively.
It makes it the exclusive Nintendo Switch games. And if you're familiar with the title, Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2, those were cross-platform. So it's an interesting note, and I think it's a good pickup for Nintendo to put this on their system.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, why not? I honestly always thought those games sold well, and I've never played any of the other two. I played a bit of this one, haven't beat it or anything by any means, but I put some time into it, and I always thought those games did well enough to where it wouldn't be ever in a situation where, well, the next one's not going to get made unless someone picks it up in order to make it exclusive. And I mean, if anything, Nintendo seems to be killing it. It's just another game to put,
I thought that might have
another feather in the cap. So.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about earlier, outside of a Mario game or a Donkey Kong game or a Zelda game, I like that the Switch has an exclusive that's not just a Nintendo game, right? Because for the longest time, that's what their exclusives generally have always been.
Yeah, usually.
So this game, guys, if you're unfamiliar with it, is kind of a top-down 4-character selection, because you can play it with friends, you can play it by yourself, and it's a roster of everything you wanted in Marvel, right? So instead of being like a Spider-Man game that's just Spider-Man guys, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, you've got all the Spider-Man, you've got the Avengers, you've got the X-Men, so it's a great roster of characters, right?
Villains and heroes.
And it really delves into this RPG mechanic to where, outside of just being a top-down game where you're shooting your powers, there's mechanics there that let you level up your guys, let you level up your powers, that let you level up armor, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know what the name is. You can read that because you got it in front of you. But the way that those outside of leveling up, there's another grid that you use these coins. It's called
the Alliance Enhancement.
Yeah, and it looks a lot like the Sphere Grid from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
I thought that was
saw.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun way. I always thought that was a fun way to level up.
Fantastic.
And a cool way to level up.
It's better than getting points.
Yeah,
right? I like moving around and making everyone's game's gonna be custom.
Yeah,
essentially.
And then once you reach the end of this grid, it either expands to another one, or if you've maxed it out, there's an overall effect that it'll give you. If you do all the healing ones, it'll be recover health for 1 second for whatever. Some sort of thing. And it's cool that it goes for everybody that you're playing as. It's an effect for everyone. It's not just
passive
for one
abilities
character.
For the entire team, regardless of who you're switching out on. One of the other things to note is, outside of just playing the main campaign, they have these, they're called tears or rifts, and this is essentially side game stuff that you can do where you run into a world, you can jump into it, and this is how you're going to start unlocking suits for your character, material to upgrade, certain characters that are only unlockable through this mode where we were looking up. It's Loki, Magneto, Elektra, and Thanos. So this is a game. This is how you would replay the game with challenges, right? So essentially, it's beat a boss in under 2 minutes where they don't take as much physical damage. So it puts incentive on figuring out a plan to how to beat them effectively.
Right, and I always kind of like when games do these. I think another one of my favorites is Mortal Kombat. It'll beat this enemy, but you only kicks, or asteroids are falling from the sky. Just some random little thing that it makes you think differently about.
On it.
Yeah,
a little bit of spice.
You're gonna think differently instead of just going in there mashing a button. You can't do that anymore.
Yes, I actually, because they have now on the life bar, it's your actual HP plus a stun bar. So there is no just running in and just mashing a button. You've got to synergize. That's the name of the game. You've got to combo up an attack that will knock that down and then hit somebody, and that's how you're beating bosses, at least quicker than the average bear.
Yeah, you really got to kind of think out your team, especially with some of that stuff on there. You can't just go in there with, all right, well, just mix and match.
And the cool thing about the mix and match is that if you guys are familiar with the old games, you used to get bonuses and a team name if you made a party of all 4. For example, the Femme Fatales, where all
just
females,
all women.
They got a bonus. In this one, there's groups that every character fits in, and instead of being 4, it goes from 2 to 3 to 4. So if you have characters that are in 2 groups or that are also in a 3 group on your team and then also in another 2, those abilities and percentages will stack. And I think that so far for me has been one of the coolest things I've seen in a game. I like the ability to custom build a team and then get rewarded, and then on top of that, multiple times.
I'll say the only thing that I don't like as far as customizing the team goes is that the people you don't use don't level up.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe. That's probably my only complaint so far about this game.
I've always hated that in games, and I know some of the other Final Fantasies. Even if you do, they used to do that. Or like Pokemon, it's almost like the Pokemon effect. If you don't use them,
and there's no experience alt, right?
Yeah.
So I can't even mimic getting a little.
And that's the thing that I think should be in there is even if you're not using someone, maybe they don't level 1-for-1 with your other characters, half the XP or something like that. So there's somewhere that would be comparably close, because otherwise you're late in the game and maybe you want to use somebody that you weren't privy to before. Maybe they weren't your favorite character. You go and see this movie. I want to go and use this guy now. They're level 6, and now you got to start the grind all over again.
And the only thing to say is this is kind of where those rifts come in. You get to replay lower leveled missions that I guess essentially would help you build a lower level team. The cool thing is the game starts. I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler. The game starts with Guardians of the Galaxy, but as soon as you open up kind of the shield emblem and start getting your roster, you're open to 16 characters. Right, so that's a pretty big looking group.
Just
you can already start mixing and matching, and then if I was counting it right, there's about 20 blank slots. So throughout the game, whether it's going to be through just naturally unlocking or like kind of in-game incentives, that roster only grows. So you're looking at probably roughly around 40, 50 guys that you're going to be able to play with. So.
I think there's some free people, and then Christian. I don't know the list. Give me that list of...
what was the first one?
The first paid DLC list.
Was it Marvel Knights?
So there's 36 playable characters now. 2 are coming free August 30th, which is Cyclops and Colossus. And the DLC pack, which is only $20.
Hey. Oh, crazy.
Gets you, I think, 4 packs throughout time. The first one's going to be the Marvel Knights, Morbius, Moon Knight, Blade, and Punisher.
Oh, dude, what a great... I love the Midnight Suns. Yeah. Essentially what they are in comics.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, there's plenty for you there to choose where you don't have to feel like you have to buy these characters or something.
Yeah. You got a roster to play with that essentially needs no in-game currency, and if you want to keep playing, you can either A, do it and get something organically, or B, this is DLC that I think sounds worth it. You get to pick a team, you get to play it. It's a couple bucks. It's $20 and you get like a pack out of it. So.
Yeah, it's nice to see something where there's enough content there, and then the extra content is just other people. They couldn't fit in, or I'm sure they could or whatever. But either way, you already have this huge list of people, and now we're
great
just
roster,
actually adding
guys.
more. Yeah.
And compared to the old ones, it's contemporary. It's got your your Captain your Miss Marvel in it. Your Guardians of the Galaxy that were in previous renditions.
A lot of the hot characters now, thanks to obviously the MCU,
the movies and all that stuff. The only other thing I want to jump in on is because me and Cien were playing it, we both bought it. We were looking to see how the co-op worked. Now we actually did get a chance to play it. There's 3 different modes for it. There's the offline, there's the online, and then there's the local. We only played the local because I have my Switch. He has his. One thing to note is that if you're gonna play it with somebody else, it scales to whoever is the least furthest in the game, if that makes sense, right? It only goes to as far as the person that's under-leveled gets to.
You're not just joining as like this brick shit house that's just going to walk
this
someone through the game.
This isn't a Borderlands where it's going to rescale either way. It only goes as far as that. The cool thing is that if you're the higher-level character, one of your characters, whoever you have in your roster, can play with the lower-level characters. So that can kind of help them out. If you're a 15, they're an 8. You kind of bully through some levels. The only other thing you can't do as the higher level characters, you can't switch between the 4 characters. That's reserved for the host of the party.
Whoever's hosting it or whatever. But I mean, that didn't really bug me any though. So.
Not at all. I thought it's a really cool concept. It gets somebody that's higher level to go play with someone lower, and they get to go back because they get to keep the experience. So you can go back and play with a lower level character that you normally didn't play with, match up with someone an 8 and an 8, and now it's a perfect party. And now you have an excuse to go play Gamora because I'm never going to play with her.
Right. I mean, as someone who's never played it, I actually had a lot of fun playing this game. I would say for anyone who's got a Switch, just for my little bit of playing it, I would definitely pick it up. It's almost like a beat 'em up with like lots of other different mechanics.
With some really good RPG mechanics.
Yeah, that make it feel like a lot different. You're not just going in there button mashing or just. XXX until someone dies or whatever. And I had a lot of fun. I thought it was absolutely great, and I'm kind of bummed now that I didn't get the other ones. But I think you said earlier that they are remastered, so maybe I can go back and try those for sure.
I don't know if I have it still on PS2, but there's the original kind of concept comes from X-Men Legends. They did 1 or 2 of them. I think the second one was like Rise of Apocalypse or something. Then it turned into Ultimate Alliance on like the 360 PS3. Then they redid them on the Xbox One. So if you want to jump back on those, I got them, dude. They're fucking...
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try them for sure. Because I had a lot of fun playing that too.
Yeah, and then now, 10 years later, we finally have number 3. So full circle because so far the game's good. The only thing we didn't talk about was graphics. How did the graphics hit you?
I will say, like, it's not a beautiful game. It's not like a star-stealing game. It looks okay. Like, it looks fine.
Perfectly fine.
Is all I would have to say. I wouldn't write home about it. It's not like Mario Rabbids, even though Nintendo always has their own vibe to where... And that's what's kind of weird, is the games that are usually just for Nintendo, specifically when it's done by Nintendo, look beautiful. Yeah. And this game, it's not like it had all these other consoles to worry about. It's just the one. And it looks okay.
Right. There's no other version to compare it to. So.
I'll say right now that it definitely does look better than the Squeenix fucking Avengers game, because that game looks like hot shit.
Whew, dude, the hotter shit that game gets. And I don't even want to get into it because it's only going to make me mad. But, Andrew, that is pretty much our quick take on Ultimate Alliance 3. And by the time we do next week's episode, we're only going to have more to talk about because I've gotten
should be done by then.
Yeah, I've gotten to as far as Ultron and
spoilers.
You're going to play every villain, then you're going to fight them all. It's in every game. But it's good. It's fantastic. I actually think the more I play it, the more I like it. So moving off of that, Andrew, are we going to get into a little segment called the video game question of the week?
Yeah. So I had something different originally, but that's neither here nor there.
That's a story for a behind-the-scenes episode when we finally do it. I'll never forget it.
So I want to know what your saddest video game moment is for you. So instead of giving him a choice like we've usually been doing, I'm trying to get something maybe a little bit more deeper or just a little personal that is only for you versus just, hey, here's A or B, pick one.
Okay.
And that's for you, Gino, that A or B.
He's an A or B smasher. So, he hasn't asked me that one before. Because sometimes we'll talk and try to get a warm-up so by the time we record it, we're good.
You have an idea, but...
The quickest thing that comes to mind is that PS2 right there. And I won't say his name because I don't know if he watches this, but I let someone borrow my PS2, and because in a world where I live with internet and I was playing Xbox, they didn't have much, and they just needed a system. They'll play offline just so they could play a game. I felt, sure, dude, I let him borrow that, a stack of games, but the saddest part was I let them borrow my memory cards. That person moved or bounced around or whatever. I thought I lost them forever. The silver lining is I finally met up with that person a few years ago, got my PS2 back, got 4 memory cards back, but the sad part is I mean, these had Legend.
The data was probably all gone.
This had Legend of Legaia on it. This had Legend of Dragoon on it. This had my original Final Fantasy VII, which is something I feel so stupid that I let anybody borrow. Old Resident Evils, Tomb Raiders. I let them all my memory cards because at the point in time I didn't need them.
Yeah.
By the time I got them back, I was so happy. Checked them all, blank. And
that made me cry.
just remember. Yeah, it was a tough one, man, because I remember being so happy that I had those and popping them in and they were just dust, and I was like, damn it. So, you know what I mean? And I don't remember every game I played back on the PS1, and that was one cool thing about a memory card, is that literally held your gameplay so you could be like, hey, I used to beat that game. But, oh God, I hate that you had to ask me sad. I thought we were going in a happy direction. That one was tough, man. 4 memory cards, white. And hopefully he had fun with them, though. I mean, so hopefully he had a good time and he got to enjoy some good games. But that sucked, man, because I that was my Final Fantasy VII original. Knights of the Round, Gold Chocobo, all the good stuff. So
maybe that earned you some good karma. Who knows?
Oh, fuck, hopefully. Do you want to touch on anything that involves a saddest memory?
Oh, well, I was actually going a different direction from what you were saying.
Oh,
like,
God.
for me, like, the saddest...
The sad means something... Oh, are you talking about, like, a cutscene?
Yeah, like, I was talking about that, but, I mean, that broke my heart.
Because, Jesus Christ, man, I'm, like, that was... God.
That broke my heart regardless. I was thinking, like, the end... Like,
Hashtag memory card love.
I've never been sad about anything except for, like, there's there's a lot of things that get me now, but like the very first one was like the ending of Final Fantasy X, which I'm sure you beat it. When the spoilers, no, when Yuna goes to tell Titus not to leave, and she falls through
last battle though,
and then she's just crying. She's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I love you too," and then just jumps off the end. I was like, "Oh man, that got me good." Or I would say even more recently, or that's not even a word, but it would be the recent. I said recently, but like
coined it.
The end of The Walking Dead, the first season.
Oh shit!
When you have to shoot Lee. Spoilers. Man. Like that one gets me every time. I actually went back and I was like, there's some days where I feel like I just need a good cry and I need to let it out. And so I watch sad cutscenes. But then I decided to go and watch other people's reactions to that. And so when there's a big group of people crying, I start getting all super teary-eyed. And I'm like, it feels good though some days.
Not to get too sidetracked because it was a conversation we had earlier, but D'Andra's kid Daniel was actually playing The Walking Dead Telltales. And he came in the other day because he was almost done with it. And he goes, hey, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking about, like, where you at? This, that. And he goes, oh, it's like, does Lee die? I'm like, I can't tell you nothing, man. You gotta, hang in there because it gets worse.
That sucks. Cause that ending's a hard one.
But it's like one of those things, like, you can't point blank ask somebody the ending to that. I mean, obviously, anyone watching this, you just got the spoiler, but I'm not going to ruin that for a first-time player that literally asked for that.
Oh, if he feels anything at all, he's in for a rough ride.
I bawled during the number 2 when... Well, I don't know if your storyline lined up to mine, but when Kenny has to walk up to the goddamn gate and
leaves you?
And he gets... I'm talking number 2 and he gets rejected.
Yeah.
And you, Clementine, and I forget
the baby?
Yeah, you have to stay there?
Yeah.
Dude, I was just like...
Yeah, that one's a good one, yeah. The one Telltale was always pretty good for some good shit like that.
I miss Telltale, man.
Rest in peace.
They had a good idea. They latched on to too many IPs that just weren't theirs or licensing. And, next day, you're gone. So with that being said... You want
riff?
Should we riff?
Oh, jinx you me beer.
Well, I've got a couple over here. I can give you this one.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first, because I'll save mine towards the end, because it's a light gripe.
So I'll start with one. Riff, for anyone unfamiliar, just either basic news, or maybe if we have a problem with something, hate something. As you can tell by last week's episode, I hated Battlefield 5. Still do.
That was a rant and a half.
But, this burp sucked. I'm so sorry. Luigi's Mansion 3 finally got a release date. We just knew it was coming out in October, but there's no definitive date. It is October 31st. Which, as Christian told us earlier, is on a Thursday, so...
Okay, maybe I missed that. It's actually coming out on...
Halloween.
Oh, that's fantastic.
A Halloween game for a Halloween day. And
what more things do you
I think it looks really good. I personally I wasn't the biggest fan of 2 because I felt like it lost a lot of the love like that I felt like number 1 had, as far as because they broke it up into chapters instead of just being all one big mansion. I didn't feel like it was the same. Not that I want it to be the same, but it didn't have the same vibe to it that I felt like. So 2 was good, but it wasn't the same love that I had for number 1, because I loved my GameCube and I love Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, you're
and I personally love Luigi, and I love seeing him get his dues. Even though he's a coward, he still just goes through and powers through and does what he has to do.
On. Does
the year of Luigi never stops.
By the time Halloween comes around, because I know you've said that you'll have one by Link's Awakening, are you gonna have a Switch by? I'll give you to October. Are you gonna have a Switch by the time Luigi's Mansion comes out?
I don't know if I'll have a Switch. Maybe I'll have a Switch Lite.
Oh, or the new one. And I'm gonna riff on this. That's a perfect segue.
Oh yeah.
The rumored. Oh, God, I don't want to get too much into this, so I just want to touch on it. Switch Lite is coming out, and that is pretty much a predecessor of sorts from the Switch regular. And it's going to be essentially just a handheld, which I thought was a fantastic idea. My opinion is still that it's just a big Game Boy. And then the week later, because we did this last weekend, the next week they're saying that the Switch 2 is coming out. Still Joy-Con accessible, still dock accessible.
Better battery.
And people, maybe it was just a big misinterpretation. A lot of people were going, oh, cool, this is going to have more features, more this, or
for lack of a better term, Switch Pro.
A Switch Pro of sorts. And they've broken it down, and all it is a bigger battery, right? I mean, is that all we've discovered so far?
Was that
bigger and better?
Was that? Did you show me the meme earlier, or was that you that showed me the Nintendo Switch meme for the Switch Lite? That you showed me that?
That was him.
What
3DS
I show?
one?
The 3, yeah.
Yeah, dude's like, oh yeah, Nintendo's about to show their new Game Boy. breaks off the top half of a 3DS and goes, "Here you go."
Switch
And
Lite,
I
yeah.
died. I was like, "Oh my
that
god!"
was really funny. So,
and I don't mean that in a wrong way, but one of the conversations we had earlier was like, I think Switch is onto something extremely special here with what they had. They're so known and great at innovation and uniqueness and quirkiness with what they do that I feel a Switch Lite is a perfect way to move into the next thing. But I do not want over the next year 4 more SKUs to come out that are just A's a better battery, B's a bigger size.
And here's a C for you.
C's got 3 more buttons.
Or maybe like a slightly better LCD or something.
I don't want little. The only thing I will say, because we were driving to Vegas earlier and I was trying to play it in the car in the front seat, it needs, and maybe
like an anti-glare or something like that.
An anti-glare screen, because that thing fucking hurts.
I would feel spurned if I bought one and then just like 4 more consoles come out that are just slightly small iterations and better over the course of however much longer it's got versus, hey, let's just put out, again, a Switch Pro or something like that that's got better battery, better screen, better this, better that. This shit, that shit, Chris Kirkpatrick, you know?
Anyone who's talking this shit, that shit. If they come out...
The Switch can get its ass kicked.
If they come out and actually say, hey guys, we weren't saying this is a number 2 or a Pro or whatever, we're just for anybody that was on the fence about getting a Switch that docks instead of a handheld, here's one that's coming out Christmas of 2019, next year 2020, that just has a better battery. You don't need to get the one that's day one. I'll be more than fine with that, because I might get a second one that does that, because I'm more preference to the dock one than versus the handheld one. That's cool, but the rumors are that it's the Pro version, and I just didn't like the way, I guess, was worded.
That, and I mean, it's a slightly better battery, and it's the same price as the original.
It is the same exact price.
That's what they've said so far. That's what the word is. Whether or not...
Well, then 2-year-old tech with a better battery needs to be at least $50 off. Minimum, right? I mean...
you can't make it $50 off, because then it'll almost match the Switch Lite. So
75?
I don't know. Hopefully they don't come out with any more crazy consoles, because then they're running into like a second problem where we have all this stuff, and it's not that they don't support it, but you have all these different SKUs that I don't know which one to buy, and I'm this parent, and I'll just buy this thing that's got one SKU. I know it works for everything.
If you get your second Switch, you getting the Lite for a handheld for a pooper device, or are you getting the second one with a better battery that docks and Joy-Cons?
I would get the battery life, and that's just because there's times into where I want to take it to my room and play it handheld.
You gotta talk a little louder, baby.
I would get the bigger battery life, because there's times into where I want to just take it to my bedroom, lay on the bed, and just kind of, sit down and play the game. The handheld, it has a slightly better battery life, but it's just one of those things.
It's a direct audience, all right? I mean, you need to be revolved around the handheld for this to... And that's not taking away anything for anyone that likes to play handheld. Like I said, this is a perfect number 2 as anyone that was looking for the next Game Boy, because there is no next 3DS coming out, right? There's no plans for that as far as we know yet.
Right.
For the next one. So I was more than happy with these two coexisting with each other. And the beauty is this can be the next one for the Game Boy player, or number 2 for the guy that already has the first one. And here's my second one. I think it's brilliant. I'm not knocking this at all. So if anyone's taking it that way, it's not. I love what the Switch is doing. What I'm going to get mad about is if 2 more SKUs or 3 more SKUs come out that are pointless.
Just small differences on each one every year for whatever.
I feel like both of the ones right now are serving a purpose to an audience. So,
next riff?
Yeah, let's riff it.
So on a smaller note, Rod Ferguson, famous for Gears of War, the leads Gears of War now, currently, has said that there's not going to be any smoking in 5. There wasn't any in 4 because he doesn't want to glorify smoking.
What?
Now, I don't know, because I mean, it's different for everybody, but I've never seen someone smoke or drink, even though I do drink.
On the daily.
But yeah, that's a personal decision. I've never saw someone do it and thought, dang, that looks cool. Now I'm going to start doing that. Even as a kid, cartoons had like smoking in them, stuff like that, and I've never felt like that had an influence on me that it's okay or anything like that. So I just don't understand really how you can... And it's his stance, if he wants to stand against smoke, and it's not any sort of censorship. It's his own censorship. It's his, it's his.
Right. He's not making a stand on something that's not his.
So yeah. So I mean, I just think it's a weird stand. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to glorify smoking as someone's getting torn in half with some like chainsaw and guts are spilling out everywhere.
It's a very double-edged sword, I think.
So it's kind of weird, But I mean, either way, I mean, more power to him. I personally don't really. I don't smoke. I hate people. I don't hate the people that smoke. I hate people that fucking throw their butts and shit like that everywhere. So if it creates less of that, then I guess yeah, sure, I'm all for it. But I just sometimes it goes with the character. Like Solid Snake is a perfect example. To me,
I'd be
he
pissed.
smokes.
I'd be pissed if the next, because it's part of the game. I'd be pissed if the next Metal Gear Solid came out and he wasn't able to smoke.
Well, see, spoilers, there's ways to get around that, but it's still the same thing because it doesn't make... So I don't think it makes him cool. That's a personality trait. But
yeah,
you didn't...
It calms him down. It pulls him into the... It calms him down. It calms his nerve.
In Metal Gear Solid 5, which I know you didn't play, at the beginning...
If there's no smoking, now I'm not playing it.
Snake goes to smoke, and Ocelot, like, I don't remember if he shoots it or knocks it out of his hand or something like that.
Well, that's an awesome way to deal with it.
He gives him an electronic version of it, because, like, smoking's not good for your health. Here, use this instead.
That's
and
fantastic.
the e-cigar does the same thing.
That's
so I was
fantastic.
like, okay, they dealt with the fact that he's got this thing that obviously is unhealthy, and you dress it like a normal person would. I don't tell someone, oh, that's unhealthy or whatever, but I can imagine a conversation like that. Not just, don't smoke, you're going to... young people are impressionable.
Yeah, well, first, it reminds me of the thing of, in Mrs. Doubtfire, where Robin Williams' character is doing the voiceover of the fucking bird.
Yeah, yeah.
He's forced to smoke a cigar.
Oh, I'm dying, and this and that.
Oh, help,
my little lungs. And
he's like, you guys all agree, right? He looks over to the booth, and they're all fucking just like executives smoking. And it's a weird thing to look at, especially that we're still dealing with something like this. Like, people smoke, right? The fact that anyone wants to take, or a video
it's a mature game for a reason.
Takes a stance on it to say, I'm officially, because I don't smoke. I don't go out of my way to hang out with people that smoke around me. But I'm not going to give two shits if a character... you got to be a certain type of person that's influential about a video game to go, oh, this guy smokes, but I'm not going to go do this or that. So
maybe there's just a different crowd out there. Because like I said, I'm not an impressional person.
The guy that's making it is going, hey, I just don't want it in my game. And he's kind of taking this flag. And that's respectable. But
then again, I don't know anyone.
But did you have to say it out loud?
How many people have you met, though, like that, oh, this guy smokes in the game and it's my favorite character. There's been smoking in the game since Sid in Final Fantasy VII. How many people play Final Fantasy VII and said, damn, Sid's cool as hell, like, I'm going to start smoking.
I don't get it. And here's the thing, without trying to sound ignorant,
I don't get it.
I'm sure there's something out there that
I don't get it, but I'm not
for
mad at it because, smoking is bad for you and, whatever.
It's just like you were saying with Solid. I don't like anything that takes away from an already existing being in game culture just because the studio or something is going to go, okay, but we don't want to promote that. It's like...
Message.
Message! It's like, but you already... I don't know. But again, it wasn't in the last game. He's now full control of this one, right? He has complete marketing...
right.
Because I want to say what
I don't think it's really been, like... It's not like it's ever been...
poster, though, of someone smoking?
I don't think it's ever been, like, prevalent in the game. I know he said in his quote, like, I don't have it verbatim here, that... he didn't want him to smoke, but he got something else that he wanted, so they had someone smoke. But his big thing was like, oh, I don't want them to light it's not even a cigarette, it's a cigar. I don't want them to light it on screen because, like, I lost that battle. And it's like, I don't understand how, like, that's...
Why is that a battle?
Like, I lit up a cigar, there's 2 seconds of me puffing, and
that's what it was. Because we were talking about it earlier. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 are complete games where you can smoke, go to a bar, get hammered drunk, go do this and that. But that doesn't reflect what the game is. You play Red Dead Redemption to go play a Western.
I take that as a person's characteristic as far as a character.
That's an in-game mechanic. You literally have to push X or whatever it is to grab a drink and drink it. This is a character in a cutscene or a poster that smokes that is not an in-game mechanic, and people are hitting the panic button.
Yeah, I think even like Halo 2, Halo in general, Johnson smokes. He's always got that cigar in his mouth. And then when they made the remaster, it's an in-depth, highly looking, I could grab it out of the screen cigar now. But I've never it didn't bug me. I just take that as that's a character trait. He's somebody who smokes. It's a good riff. God forbid you're in a fucking dystopian future world that's destroyed by locusts and all these things and everything's going to hell and people are dying that you can't enjoy a cigarette.
I think of Thank You for Smoking too. He's like, well, wouldn't they blow up in an all oxygen environment? Well, yeah, but it's an easy fix. Thank God they invented the whatever. Yeah.
You have any more risks? Because I got one other thing.
I'm riff-less, sir, but
keep one we were talking about.
I'm fishing, bro. Bring it in. Send me home.
The new Witcher trailer.
Oh yeah, we just watched that.
Yeah, I personally loved it. I thought it looked great. I think it gives me that itch for that Game of Thrones feels, since I didn't like the last season of Game of Thrones. I think it sucks that story-wise, I don't know how it'll be, but it's that high fantasy world, and I'm super into that I'm excited to see it, and it makes me want to play the game, and I'm glad to see something get such a good treatment to where it's considered like, hey, this is art, because games are always taken as a joke, like, oh, go read a book over a game, whereas, now it's starting to get that, this is as much as art as anything else is.
I think a lot of people overlook video games are the definition of accumulation of every art.
Yeah,
it's music, it's programming, it's sound, it's voice talent, it's acting, it's mocap, it's everything, it's visual background. So video games is art in its entire form. It's also a medium, right? That's the difference. That's what I think a lot of people get lost. I think
the show's a good form of that medium.
I love the fact that we keep bringing on, because I think we talked about Cuphead last week, right?
Cuphead, and then there's already the Castlevania show. So I think some of these games do better as a show. Than we don't need a movie for every single game.
Yeah, I love that we keep bringing something like this up, because this projects it puts it out there that, guys, there is more to video games than just the gaming aspect. And
maybe I can get my good Resident Evil, because those movies are dog shit.
He hates them.
So I'm hoping for a good show like what was rumored, but I want to hold my breath.
We were talking about it earlier too. This show shows budget, right? They're putting Netflix. Well,
it's already budget with a name like Henry Cavill, but
yeah, you take a guy that's going off of being a big ass movie star, and then he's now leading this show. I don't think there's anything to. If I watched it, we all watched it. I don't think there was anything to talk bad about.
No, I thought it looked great. I thought it was really cool looking.
Yeah, there's tons of times where we watch trailers to shows and we're like, that sucks, that sucks, that sucks. And if you're a nitpicker or you're just not a fan of it, I'm sure there's 1,000 people out there who are like, his hair looks shitty, those eyes look stupid. Why is that girl acting like that?
And that's the thing is I've never played. I've never played the game, so as an opinion outside of that, I think he looks like the dude to me. To whatever, he doesn't have a beard,
he's
but
intimidating.
Does he always have a beard? I don't know if he does in the games. I think it looks good, and it's something I'm interested in watching, and I'll go through and I'll probably play the games now because of that, not because of whatever.
It's making me want to play the games more, and like you were saying, I didn't know it is a book series. You want to go read The Witcher? You can go read it. You want to go play The Witcher? You can go play it.
And now if you want to watch it, you can watch The Witcher.
It's coming up. So, yeah, great point.
If you want to smoke The Witcher, I'm sure you can probably tear out a page and smoke the book. So
you can. They're very flammable. So, good point, man. Yeah, very good. And I like that you keep bringing those up, because they're past me. I always keep forgetting to bring that stuff up. So
highs and lows time before we get into the contest.
Let's get into. We should have done the contest. We got time. No, let's do highs and lows, and we'll end up with the contest, just to make sure you guys watching to hear the contest stay to the end. So,
I'll start first with my highs and lows, because they're from the same game. They kind of play out the same thing.
Yeah.
So my high, thanks to the Game Pass, I tried Metro Exodus, and I'm actually loving it. I think it's great. I'm like 5-6 hours in.
Didn't me telling you 2033 was good help inspire that?
Yeah, I almost went back and tried those ones because they're on the Game Pass, and I was like, I'm just gonna play the newest one. I'm just gonna jump in. The only thing my biggest gripe about it is I hate in games when they repeat certain words like a million fucking times. Like in Assassin's Creed, Malaka, and Mistios, and fucking Lord of the Rings, the Plantier. Get the Plantier. And this one, they say his name Artyom. I'm like,
how many other ways can you say it?
Yeah, I'm like, you don't have to say his name every fucking sentence. So that's my biggest gripe about it so far. But other than that, I think the game's cool. Like, it started off a little slow, and I'm like, oh man, this is maybe not for me. But now that I've stuck with it, I'm actually really enjoying it. And my low would be that I started playing it, and I miss it, and I always have my achievements laid out in front of me for some games that I want to do them for. And this one had one where you're supposed to do some shit to a train. And I beat that section, and I forgot to do it. So I had to create a new game and then do it again. Luckily, it was only an hour into the game, but still, it was an hour of unskippable fucking cutscenes. Had to learn Artyom a million more times.
Not unskippable.
And I'm like, fucking
why are you not walking faster?
Dude, halfway through, I just muted it. And I was looking online. I'm like, can I kill these people with like no negative effects? So I just put on a podcast. I just started running through, just fucking murdering everyone. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm just trying to fucking get down to the brass tacks.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yours.
Low. Again, I haven't really had too much of a low because I haven't been playing too much.
So you're not a real gamer?
Well, I'm trying to get a
24
podcast.
hours a day,
I'm trying to get
23
a
hours a day?
podcast going. This guy just comes over here and sucks the beer out of me. So, no real low. The high is that we got a chance to play Ultimate Alliance. Bought it day one. Got hooked up with the poster at GameStop, which is something that we and you, I think, are still supporting.
Yeah.
Dan, you're a GameStop supporter, no?
Yeah, I love GameStop, man. I'm actually one of the only ones that hates digital compared to hard copy.
Oh, you sassy bitch.
Why the hell do I want to keep a game that I'm never going to play again?
And that's the argument. That's the heads and tails conversation of it. So, good week. Got to play this. Andrew convinced me. We got the day off. We played the Gears 5. So I have nothing but highs. We got the show going. All highs. Lows would be.
I already know what your low is.
I haven't finished Fire Emblem. I was playing it. I was on episode or chapter 5. I think last time we started. I'm on chapter 14. I think there's 23. I'm not done with it because now I'm not gonna beat it until I beat Ultimate Alliance 3. So I hate when I have to put a game on a backseat, kind of
on the back burner. Yeah.
But this is a game that I've been looking forward to for 10 years ago when I was in high school. I think when number 2 came out. So I'm gonna play this game.
I mean, glad to see it's good though. I mean, you can
What do you
wait
think
10 years and it could be a dog shit game like Kingdom Hearts. So
he'll look for an option every time the show's running to just really throw that Kingdom Hearts 3 in there.
Yeah, that game's like
It's a great game. He hates it. Cien?
I'm not a fan of it. And I'm pretty sure Borderlands 3 is going to fall in the exact same.
Borderlands 3 too?
These 3 games are 10 years apart. Kingdom Hearts 3 sucked.
But there's a difference
Ultimate
between
Alliance
like
3 is
Gearbox
really
2K doing it than Square Enix 10 years later with cross-platform, no?
I tried to go into Borderlands 1 this past month and I just couldn't get into it.
Even the remastered?
Even remastered.
God damn it. So
you can only polish fucking dog shit too much. So,
so
want to
with that
get
being
into the
said, guys,
contest?
yeah, let's get into the contest. So we've actually got a lot of feedback about our last episode that we kind of explained that I guess some people aren't too clear. So let me specify what exactly it is. The contest runs from our last episode until September 14th is when we announce the winner. So September 7th is your last entry. Now, how do you enter? You watch these episodes, you hit like, you comment, you subscribe. You need to comment #SwitchLite and then enter the color of your choice.
We'll put a pin in it right there because I've seen some people who put the comments, they leave a good comment. We appreciate every single feedback we get, good, positive, negative, mutual at all. As long as you're subscribed and you give us a like, if you don't put #SwitchLite in case you missed this episode, that will not disqualify you.
I'm going to disqualify you if I'm the one doing it.
Hey, you know what? I'll fight for you
So
because
now it depends on who's going to pull it.
Hey, I buy gaming consoles for the hardworking American man because that's who I am and that's what I care about.
Okay, so Andrew, then I guess we'll restart. If you guys leave a comment, we are going to pull from the comment section per episode. So if you watch last episode, this episode, next episode, the next 2 or 3 weeks of episodes, that is an entry per episode. We are going to pull those. We're going to take the winner from each of those episodes, and then we're going to put all those names into a hat. And on the 14th, Andrew's going to write them all down. I'm going to pull them out of a hat. The winner is going to win the Switch Lite. But what I wanted to note, though, we were saying the color. If you want the Pokemon version, the special edition, if we get access to that, or if are we able to pre-order it, we're going to get that for you.
Yeah, again, we're not a huge channel, so again, you're not going to get this thing until the day it releases, and then given that like a week, because we're going to go down, we're going to buy it ourselves, we don't get any handouts, we don't get anything special, we're not a huge channel, so we're going to go down the day it releases, get whatever it is you're asking for, provided it's there, and then send it to you. If not, we'll work something else out. So again, I'm not going to sit here and bid for that Pokemon console on eBay and overpay some whatever bullshit. I don't know anybody who works at fucking Hal's Laboratory. So if they're gonna have it here and we can get it, we'll be more than happy to get it for you. And again, it'll probably take like a week to get to wherever, provided you are in the US. Hawaii is included in that, I guess.
U.S. guys, make sure you're in the U.S. Eventually, we'll get to if you are foreign. I don't think our audience has reached that far yet, but
who knows? Maybe someday. Here's dreaming.
So Andrew's rooting for you guys that aren't putting Switch Lite in there, but I'm saying put Switch Lite. Just do us a favor; it makes it easier to find.
It does make it a little bit easier, yeah.
And the cool thing is, it's not just one entry, guys. You can do an entry this episode, last episode, the next 5 or 10, whatever it is, and then we're gonna keep doing these. This is gonna be a rolling effect. We're gonna have. I don't remember what our next one was going to be because we have our winner of Borderlands.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have a couple of things planned out. So, and I mean, by all means, if you put an entry in this, create a fake account. I don't care if you have more than one account. Put another account because I mean we could use them. Tell your friend to enter, and they could enter for you. And I mean, if they win it, we'll ship it to them. They can give it to you. I don't give a shit. You know?
Yeah, enter as many times as you want, guys, because everything's going to be a vote. But anyways, guys, this about wraps this episode up. So let me tell you how you get a hold of us, guys. If you want to follow us on Instagrams, follow us at Instagram at LastCallProductionz.
With a big Zoltan
with a capital
Z.
Zoltan Z. You can follow us on Twitter at LastCallProdz. And you can, if we mess something up, or if you want to correct something, if you just want to write a question in and we'll read it on the air, email us at lastcallproductions@gmail.com. You can also join the Facebook page, Last Call Productions. We just got started. We try to post on there every day. Keep conversations going, guys.
Let's create trademark infringement and steal the Dragon Ball Z and use that as RC.
Last call the Prodz.
Pumping up the dragon.
We could do something like that. But guys, that is the end of this episode. I had a blast. Sam's in the room. He's on his phone. But until next time, guys, my name is Craig Prowse. That is Manager Montsmayer. Cheers.
And it's
when he says,
I do lose a shit. I do lose
right.
all my fucking socks in the dryer, but God forbid I have someone tell me I have that problem in my life.
It's called
I think it's the voice.
Observational comedy.
I think it's the voice.
Yeah, the biggest.
Don't stop being a hater, bitch. You're
No.
you're a closet ass lover.
I love the short clips.
You can pick as much as you want at 1 and 2 or 3.
But I hate
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I hate more than anything when you or Deandra are watching. Like, look, he's breaking character, and I'm like, I don't know why it wasn't funny.
No, I don't do that anymore.
Like even one of the worst